But I want to know when does socialism begin and when does it end? And I'm saying you're saying that some level of socialism.
It's not like an entrance into Narnia.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Nanifia Scholars. Today we are back again with another video from Kirk. So he said, socialist doesn't understand simple economics. Charlie and his English. Okay, so guys, without further ado, let's get started.
Yes, sir.
What's up?
Sorry, I assumed your gender.
No, you're good, bro. I'm not tripping. So I was just agreeing with you said socialism is non-American. So what do you think is pro-American?
Well, let's define what socialism is, right? Socialism is the government confiscation of private property. It tends to be the rule of the few, not the many, even though they profess to say it's the rule of the many. But the American, let's just say, economic tradition is private property rights, markets with proper restraint, entrepreneurship, the ability to flourish, trade, create new products. Socialism disincentivizes almost all those things. Socialism is built largely on envy and greed. And hilariously, the people that push for socialism, the rank and file, they don't realize that socialism actually just creates an oligarchy. It doesn't actually create a strong middle class, what they allege, to want.
So do you believe in taxes?
Ideally 10% across the board. Yeah.
Okay, so you believe in the confiscation of people's private property?
At some point it depends on if it's private property income or if it's necessary to fund government services.
But that's still a confiscation with a gun through police if you don't pay.
At around 10% to fund public services,
but you
the military.
Socialism as taking private
Well, hold
property.
on. The average tax rate in a socialist type environment, and even in this country, is what, 55%?
Yeah, but I'm saying taxes in general. That's private property.
So taxation is theft. I fully acknowledge a moderate form of something I hate in order to fund a government, police, firefighters, EMT as necessary.
But that's still a government confiscating private property, which you said was socialism.
Yes, but you vote for it and you agree with it. I'm not an anarchist.
Why do I
never
agree?
Have been.
Well, I'm an anarchist. I say any form of government existence is socialism.
Fine. Have you ever called the cops?
No, I don't believe.
Okay,
I don't like cops. They don't like me.
Okay, you ever gone to hospital?
No.
Okay, well, one day when you go to a hospital or you use a social service you paid for.
I'm saying you define socialism as a confiscation of private property, and you're saying that you believe in taxes, which is a confiscation of private wages.
Okay, let me go further. Let me go for the unreasonable confiscation of private property, the elimination of private property altogether. You can have a 10% tax rate.
That's not socialism.
Well, they can be conflated. One is a gateway drug to the other.
Okay, but the middle ground
Lenin said that socialism is a precursor to communism.
Okay, but they're still different. If it's a gateway drug,
they're both
weed.
garden varieties of Marxism. Would you agree?
I agree with that. But I'm saying weed is not meth, so let's talk about weed. That's still a confiscation. If you're saying it's a confiscation, of
one is better, one is worse, and one is
but if we're talking about socialism,
more lethal.
You defined it at the beginning as the confiscation of private property.
Yes, correct.
It's also collectivized use. Do you believe in public schools?
No, ideally, I think they should be more community-based and more volunteerism.
Okay, but you believe in them in some level, right?
Well, again, this is overly abstract and academic. We live in a society where we have government schools, we have public schools, so we could talk about what we want.
I know,
but
if we're talking about what is anti-American, what is pro-American, in the existence of what you say is American, would you say public schools are part of being American? Would you say that's
well,
part
no, they
of
are. The public school system was started by John Dewey 100 years ago. We survived without it for quite a while.
What was it? During the signing of the Constitution, which the Federalists strongly supported, they were part of federalism was having a strong central government.
But
I would say it sounds like
Federalists today would be like libertarians.
Okay,
just so
but that's still a strong.
They wanted a
central
small
government.
but strong.
But strong central government still sounds like socialism to me. And
see, this is very sloppy intellectual thinking. That just because we want a police force, a border patrol, and we want clean streets, all of a sudden we become a socialist.
But those are still social
There is a spectrum between small and strong government and like Soviet-style communism.
But we're not talking about that. We're talking about socialism.
Right.
And
so
as you define socialism,
not every form of government
property.
is socialism. Would you acknowledge that?
No, I don't.
No.
Okay, then.
Yeah.
But you define at the beginning
intellectually
of this.
lazy.
No, you defined at the beginning of this as social. You offered a definition.
I've offered more nuance to that. I will say
property.
it is the unreasonable confiscation of.
But what? How do we quantify unreasonable? What is unreasonable?
That's up to the politics to do. I'd say anything above 10%.
Well, how do you define?
I said 10%. Where I get it from the Bible. Makes sense. 10% of what you earn, 10% of what you have goes to either to tithe or to God or to some sort of taxation system.
So just based
Again,
on the
that's
Bible,
my position. We can disagree on that.
Okay, so your position is based only at 10%. At 11%, it's not socialism. It is socialism.
No, I'm not saying it's socialism. It gets close. It gets further away from what it is.
Where's the line? What is socialism?
What is the taxation line? How about this? Socialism is you cannot own the property that you desire.
But you're
and
talking
we're
about me
getting,
being intellectually
how about
lazy.
this?
I'm saying let's have a
So
stringent
let me
definition
actually
of
give you a
what is
real example.
socialism.
California is more socialist. Texas is less socialist. That's a
Okay.
spectrum.
But I want to
Would
know
you agree with
when
that?
does socialism begin and when does it end? And I'm saying you're
It-
saying
it's-
there's some level
it's
of
not like
socialism
an entrance
is, but no, but
into
if you're
Narnia.
saying if you're
It's like
saying
I'm all of a sudden
socialism
here.
Please, we are studying here. I mean, this needs to be a conversation. And it needs to be a dialogue, no monologue. Like everyone is just talking. Can you guys calm down? Come on, socialism, calm down. We are learning. I know tax. 10% of tax, because every government worker pays tax. And basically that's what helps the country to move. That our tax helps the government to pay workers, public workers, when it comes to some social welfare services, especially when you go to the hospital. Certain things, our tax helps. It helps in the developmental of the country. And sometimes I feel like the government is really stealing from the citizen when it comes to the taxes, because the way we pay our taxes, some parts, I'm not saying for America, but sometimes some parts of some countries, the way they pay the taxes, they don't get that amenities in returns, but this socialism I'm not really familiar with. I'm trying to learn it, so please, Charlie, can you guys really calm down and just break your words into syllables so that we can learn from you. You just are not having a conversation, you just are having a monologue instead of having a dialogue. Guys, calm down. Jeez.
Anti-American. I'm saying
it's a
socialism
spectrum.
is a part of America.
Okay, so you want to know when socialism begins and
Yeah.
when it ends?
Okay.
When you leave the free state of Florida and
Okay,
you
but
enter the unfree state of New
What's
York,
the tax rate in Florida then?
zero.
No,
The income tax in Florida is zero.
You still have to pay taxes, though.
Federal
You still have
taxes.
to pay federal
no
taxes.
no corporate
But if
income tax, no
but-
personal income tax.
But you still have to pay federal taxes. So if you have to pay taxes at all, it sounds like Florida's a socialist state.
So are you trying to say America's currently socialist?
Yes, that's
Okay,
what I'm saying.
I would agree. We're going more in that direction. So,
Okay, but then
but
you were
socialism
saying that it's not. You're
goes
saying Florida's not
socialism
socialist,
is
and now you're
beyond
saying-
taxes, though.
But wait, you just said that America is socialist, but you said Florida's not socialist. So Florida's part of
Well,
America. That doesn't make sense.
Hold
to
on,
me.
but you pay 20% more taxes here in California than you do in Florida. Yes?
Okay, but they're both socialist.
No, but the federal project right now is more socialist than it is free market. Yes.
Okay, yes.
But in Florida, you get at least some gasp of liberty and freedom that you do not have. In California, if you're a top income earner, you're not paying 15% in addition to a 38% federal income tax rate. That's 53%. That is the government owns a majority of your labor.
Yeah.
So to be even more clear, the closer you get towards the government owning a majority of your labor and your goods, the further and further closer you get to socialism. California is that.
Yeah.
Now, I would love for the federal government to get rid of FICA tax, to get rid of, the excess income tax. I've been clear. I think 10% across the board, fine. We need a military. You might not agree. We need a police force. We need a border patrol. We need basic social services that are a safety net, not a hammock. But I do not believe in this over-the-top type taxation. If you want to talk about other types of taxation that everyone here is paying, it's inflation.
But
when you borrow $2 trillion a year, you do not have, you're getting 10% poorer every single year. I'm going to get to the next question because you keep on saying the same thing over and over again. But
I'm just
final
saying,
point.
I don't understand how you can say that socialism is anti-American when even the most pro-American, I think as you would define, like, would you say Florida's pretty pro-American?
Yeah,
say
I mean, they have no income tax.
But the thing is, if they still have taxation,
No, they have
if
they're
taxation,
part of the federal government.
If taxation is part of America, and it always has been,
But no,
public
it
service
hasn't.
has always been part of America.
So since you're such a wise guy, how did we fund the government for the income tax?
Through taxation, but I say that's socialist.
Tariffs. We didn't have an income tax till 1917. So I'm going to get to the next person. You should do more studying on American taxation. And there's a
I think you
spectrum.
should define socialism more
Not every
strongly.
form of government is socialism.
Wow, socialism, taxes. What I know, basically in our part of the country, what we really do is the taxes. I just wish our taxes that we pay has these use for like this importance. I wish we are really being provided with more of social amenities, because we pay taxes, like basically what in our part of the country, everything we do here have been taxed. Even they tax everything to the extent that they even tax these super bets. They tax basically everything: the water we drink, the food, the work, even our banking system. Everything is being taxed. And I always ask myself, is it worth enough? Because they tax every bit of everything we do here in our country, and yet just common social amenities, schools for like community schools are even scarce to have. Like, we end up going to private schools because we know our community schools are not really worth enough. When you go to the hospital, if you don't have your insurance, even if you have the insurance card, what is this? That insurance card is not even worth enough for your bills. So I asked myself, what at all are they using the tax for? Because I always say they are really they deprive us from our social amenities, because we end up paying for everything. We pay for road transport, water, everything. We go to hospitals, we pay for everything. Yet that 10% tax is secured. We pay tax on basically everything. What annoys me is we pay tax on banking system, even sports. What sports? Bets. That's sporty bets, mega bets. We pay taxes on it. Even if you want to acquire loan, you have to still pay tax on the loan that you are acquiring. Jesus. And yet we are being deprived of certain things. So it's like we are being cheated in the country. That like the government is really stealing from the citizen. So why do we have to? I feel like this socialism should come here. We need this socialism very much in our country, because this taxation thing is just whole messed up. Like, it's just fucked up. Because you basically pay tax on everything, and yet we don't. I don't know. I feel like we're not enjoying that kind of tax we are paying. We're not really enjoying it because our government system is fucked up, and the little things that the government should have done for us, done for the community too, is like we are not seeing anything. Like, it's not even happening. Like, nothing, no social amenities. Like, literally nothing. No basic social amenities is being done without we paying. We pay for everything. So what is the use for? What is the use of the tax that we pay? Like, basically, what is the use of the tax, guys? I think maybe we are all moving to America, because was it Florida he mentioned? Because this socialism needs to. I feel like this socialism is kind of cool, because the way he was explaining things, like, there's kind of the socialism is kind of cool, and we need it here in our country, basically, because the taxes we are paying is too much. Before we pay taxes that we don't really we don't feel it, because they take it from our pay, like your monthly salary, and they will take it from it. But now you see, like, it's physically, because whatever you does, tax, money you withdraw from your account, tax, money you are sending to someone, tax, even you are taking loan, tax. Basically everything is just taxated. Like, we tax you on basically everything you do, guys. And yes, we don't even enjoy that kind of. If you are new to my channel, welcome, and don't forget to click on the subscription button for more notifications. Thanks for watching.